What if you could send a 4K movie from Mars to Earth in like just a couple of minutes? For so long, that has been total science fiction. Our data connection to the rest of the cosmos, it's been more like a leaky garden hose than a fire hose. But that is all changing. It's changing because of a technology that swaps out old-school radio waves for focused beams of light. So how on earth is this even possible? Well, let's dive in.
Okay, so this whole story, believe it or not, it starts with a cat named Taters to be specific. So in late 2023, NASA beamed this quick little high-def video of Taters chasing a laser pointer. No big deal, right? Except they beamed it from the Psyche spacecraft, which was 140 million miles away. It was the very first time we'd ever streamed video from deep space. And it just makes you wonder, how in the world did they pull that off? And what does it mean for the future?
To get how they did it, we've got to first understand the problem they were trying to fix. As we send more and more complex probes and eventually people out into the solar system, we are generating just massive amounts of data. And our old ways of communicating, they just can't keep up, not even close.
And the solution is laser communication. So put simply, instead of using radio waves to carry information, we use light itself. The tech is called free space optical communication. And because light waves are way more compact and can cram in so much more information than radio waves, you can create these incredibly fast links between satellites or from a spacecraft all the way back home to Earth. Now, this is where you can really see the huge difference. Radio waves, the thing we've been using for a century, they've got limited bandwidth. They're easy to interfere with. Just think of it like a bumpy, single-lane country road for your data. Lasers, on the other hand, give you 10 to 100 times more bandwidth. Plus, they're way more secure because the beam is so tight and focused. So we're not talking about a country road anymore. This is a multi-lane data superhighway. But, a superhighway like this wasn't built overnight. Nope. The idea of using light to talk across the vastness of space, it actually has a history that goes way back to the start of the space race, with some real pioneers proving the concept one tiny step at a time.
And this timeline just perfectly lays out that journey. It started so simply. All the way back in 1968, the Surveyor 7 lander, sitting on the moon, actually detected lasers pointed at it from Earth. It was just a basic proof of concept, showing we could even aim that precisely. Then, fast forward to 92, and the Galileo probe saw laser light from an incredible 6 million kilometers away. By 95, Japan sent the first real data, even though it was a pretty slow 1 megabit per second. Then, the final piece of the puzzle clicked in 2001 when the European Space Agency linked 2 satellites together with a laser, creating the very first piece of a real network in orbit. Every single step was absolutely crucial.
So those early tests were game-changing, for sure, but the speeds were, they were pretty modest. The modern era, though, has seen this absolutely explosive growth in speed, turning what was a scientific curiosity into a core essential technology.
The first truly massive jump happened in 2013. NASA's Lunar Laser Communication Demonstration, or LLCD, didn't just break the old records, it completely shattered them. It beamed data from a spacecraft that was orbiting the moon all the way back to Earth at an unbelievable 622 megabits per second. That's faster than a lot of home internet connections right now, but from the moon. And here it is. This is the actual piece of hardware that did it. It is just amazing to think that this little compact module, jam-packed with tech, was the thing that proved high-speed communication across hundreds of thousands of kilometers wasn't just possible, it was practical. And the progress didn't stop there, not even close. Just a few years later, the European Data Relay System, EDRS, more than doubled that speed, hitting 1.8 gigabits per second. And this wasn't some one-off experiment. EDRS was built to be an operational space data highway, relaying these huge files from Earth observation satellites down to the ground. And the tests just kept coming. NASA's OPALS experiment, which you see in this rendering, tested laser downlinks from the International Space Station. Think about the challenge there, hitting a tiny target on the ground from a platform that's moving at 17,000 miles per hour. It's just incredible. And that brings us to 2022. And this number, it's just staggering. NASA's Terabyte Infrared Delivery Test, or T-BIRD, hit a downlink speed of 100 gigabits per second. Let me put that in perspective for you. At that speed, you could download a full-length 4K movie in less than a single second. That is the state of the art right now.
So, with speeds like that, it's really no surprise that we've rocketed past just government experiments. We are smack in the middle of a full-blown commercial laser race. You've got companies scrambling to build out the next generation of global communication infrastructure using this tech.
And right here is where things get really, really interesting. This stuff is not just for science anymore. As you can see, the major players are building out enormous networks. You've got active systems right now like EDRS and SpaceX's Starlink, which uses lasers to link its satellites together in orbit so they don't have to rely on so many ground stations. And then you have giants like Amazon, and even the US Department of Defense pouring billions into building their own laser-linked constellations. This isn't just about faster missions anymore. This is about building the backbone for a high-speed internet that truly covers the entire globe.
And this is what that hardware looks like. This is an optical communication terminal from a company called Mynaric, and it's the kind of off-the-shelf part that companies are now buying to stick on their satellites. The technology has gone from being a one-of-a-kind experiment to something you can just add to your cart.
Now this race to connect our own planet, it's really just the beginning. The real prize, the long-term vision here, is to use this very same technology to build a true, high-speed internet that spans the entire solar system.
So what's next? Where do we possibly go from 100 gigabits per second and these massive constellations orbiting Earth? Well, the plans are already being set in motion.
First up, we're going deeper into space. The Deep Space Optical Comms System, or DSOC, that's the same system that sent us the Taters video, is just getting started. The goal is to get 10 to 100 times more data back from our probes exploring the outer solar system. Next, we're building local networks out there. LunaNet is this incredibly ambitious plan to create a dedicated internet for the moon, a network that links up orbiters, landers, and eventually the first human bases. I mean, just imagine astronauts on the lunar surface streaming crystal clear, high-def video back to Earth in real time. That's the vision.
So when you look at all of this, from that first little flash of a laser detected by Surveyor, all the way to a cat video from deep space, it leaves you with a pretty wild thought. You know, the breakthroughs we're seeing right now, they feel so revolutionary. But in the grand story of human exploration, are we just building the dial-up for a truly interplanetary age? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.